Welcome. Today we're going to talk about perpendicular bisectors. So as we're looking at perpendicular bisectors, it's exactly what it says. Perpendicular tells us that it's going to create a 90-degree angle. The word bisector means it's going to cut into two congruent pieces, the same side of the triangle that we are going to say is perpendicular. So, looking at my first triangle here, the important part is it is a bisector, which means I need to find my midpoint. And because it's perpendicular, we're going to do the midpoint of that side by matching up the vertices. And we're going to make sure that those lines fall on top of each other. And I have created, when I create that fold, my vertices are touching, and the line falls on top of itself, which shows that I have bisected the line. Okay, by laying the line on top of itself, it also creates a perpendicular crease in my paper. So as I'm doing this, all I have to do is that crease I created. I can go mark this point as the midpoint, and then I need to draw my line just straight down that crease. That is a perpendicular bisector. Notice this opposite side does not have to go through a vertex. As it is a perpendicular bisector, there will be times that it does not. It may in special occasions, but most of the time you will find it does not fall on a vertex on the opposite side. So looking at my next side here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold it over, I'm going to match up my two vertices. I'm going to show my bisection right here by showing that my side is matched up, which when I crease it means that's in the middle. Because the line's laying on top of itself, when I unfold this paper, that crease will be at a 90-degree angle to my side of the triangle. So I'll go ahead and draw the midpoint. Label it as two congruent pieces. And then I'm going to draw a line straight down that crease. And I can say that is a 90-degree angle. So doing this one more time, I'm going to take my paper, going to fold my two vertices on top of each other. Going to make sure my line is lined up. The side is on top of itself, so I crease the paper. Go back and unfold it. Again, I can mark my midpoint by showing congruence on both sides. And then I will go ahead and go from that midpoint. I will draw a line straight through that crease. I know that that is a 90-degree angle. Now notice that one did fall on a vertex or very close, and there are some special properties that we will talk about later if we know that the perpendicular bisector also goes through the vertex. It gives us special properties of our triangle. But for now, let's go ahead and just move on and look at an obtuse triangle. So again, looking at perpendicular bisector, I want to bisect my segment, come out at a 90-degree angle. So I go vertex to vertex, line up the side on top of itself, and go ahead and crease my paper. This time I'm going to go ahead and draw my perpendicular bisector first. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to mark those two pieces as congruent. Okay, notice it doesn't look quite congruent pieces right here, but part of that's because of the paper sticking up off the page. I'm going to go do that on the next one. Vertex to vertex. Make sure my line is on top of itself and crease. Go back and unfold it. Going to match up along that crease, right like so. Now what I forgot to do on my last one was mark it perpendicular. Need to go ahead and mark that it is a midpoint by marking my two sides congruent. And let's go ahead and do it for the last one. I'm going to fold over on top of itself. Go vertex to vertex. Going to make sure that my line falls on top of itself as I'm folded over. Going to crease my paper. Okay. And then I'm going to draw my bisector, perpendicular bisector right here. Mark it perpendicular. Mark these two sides as congruent. Notice that there is this point where they're all coming together and meeting. That is called a point of concurrency and something we will talk about in more detail as we're going forward. Just wanted to point that out to you, and it has been happening every time. So expect to continue seeing some point where all three perpendicular bisectors or altitudes or medians come together at a certain point. And we will have certain properties we can talk about with those intersections. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.